Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. In today's episode, I just thought I'd give you an update on my dream reef tank and why it's not progressing quite as fast as I would like it, but we're still getting some progress made. All right, here we are, well past midway into September in 2020, and I was hoping that this tank would have its cabinetry put in place, sand in, rock in, and have it wet by now so we can start getting that cycle happening, because I want to run a pretty long cycle on this tank. I want to get a really strong bacterial culture and biodiversity going on in there, so I don't want to rush the cycle at all. I want to let it do its ugly phase when there's no coral or fish in there, and then once that settles down a bit and we've got heaps and heaps of bacteria in there, I'll start slowly adding some fish and coral from there. But as you can see, the tank's kind of sitting in the same position it's been for a little while now, and that's because of Melbourne's COVID-19 restrictions, which unfortunately are still in stage 4 lockdown. Now, the fine people at the Kitchen Design Centre unfortunately land within that stage 4 restriction zone, which means they cannot come here to install the cabinetry. Now, that's a total bummer, because the cabinetry, I've seen pictures of it and I'll put a little render on screen for you, looks incredible, and I can't really progress much further with the tank until the cabinetry is in place, because to install the crown up here onto the ceiling, we actually need to move the tank out of the way so that it can be installed up onto the ceiling. The rest of the panels that go around the frame are going to be okay. Even the little cabinet that'll go over there in the corner could probably be done with the tank in place, but realistically we may as well wait, because we have to move it to get this stuff up on the ceiling here. So I can't really go putting stuff in the tank until we've got the cabinetry in. So that's the hold up at the moment. But whilst that's been happening, and there has been some progress done with some other bits and pieces, and whilst it's not enough to do a video on their own just yet, I can give you a little bit of a taste of what is to come. So I'll switch the camera around and show you where we're at. All right, first up, you can see a whole bunch of beautiful sinking flow color gray plumbing here. We've got all the different piping there. We've got all the different fittings, threaded gate valves, ball valves, even some 1/4-inch stuff there to run some dosing and some airline things for different medias. That's all here. Now, this is as high as quality plumbing as you get. I've opted to go for the gray color rather than some of the really fancy colors that sinking flow color have, and that's mainly because my tank setup, particularly with the sump and the cabinetry, is all going to be basically black and white. And there will be some LEDs in there that will enhance some colors and change the color of things. So I opted away from some of their beautiful color options, including this beautiful metallic orange, this lovely orange, lovely blue, even their clears, their reds, which is very popular. I've decided to go with the gray because the fittings have a great range of options in gray, and therefore the plumbing is going to suit the fittings. So we're going to go stealth gray plumbing on this. So I actually had no idea what plumbing was needed, and thankfully 2 local fish shops work together. We've got New Life Aquarium, that is the importer for sinking flow color in Australia. My local fish shop, Deer Park Aquarium, worked with them to work out what plumbing we needed, ordered it through, and because of the restrictions, they were able to send it straight to my door. So we got a whole heap of 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, all sorts of different, I think even some 15 mil, all sorts of different plumbing in there, which is going to make this tank work. And I have lots of faith that David Deer Park, who's going to do most of the plumbing for me, or at least help me with the plumbing, knows what's going on there. So stay tuned and make sure you subscribe for the plumbing episode to come soon, because there's a chance that may be happening in a week or so. Now, over to the left here, you're going to see a Victron Energy Multi Plus 2 and a bunch of boxes from batteries. That's because whilst I do already have this tank set up, I'm not sure if you can see down there, I've got 2 different power points. The one on the right there is a standard outlet in the house that's tied into the rest of the house's general electrical circuit. The one on the left there is an isolated circuit that has its own switch, its own circuit breaker, its own line. It's completely dedicated just to the aquarium. Now, what I've done is I've purchased a Victron Multi Plus here, which is basically an inverter battery charger. And what that does is it takes power in from the grid, passes it through back out to that circuit, so that when the power is on, the power just passes straight through and goes to the tank as per normal. But the second that the power is interrupted, now that can be either shut off completely if there's a power outage, or even if there's a brownout, the Victron MultiPlus will take power from the batteries. In the case of brownout, it'll use the batteries to boost the power up to the required amount for the tank. Or if there's a complete outage, it'll take all of the power from the batteries to keep the tank running. Now, because I've got a backup circuit and a normal circuit, it gives me the ability to select which items I want to be critical on the tank. So I can set things like the return pump, the skimmer, and the heater, for instance, to run on the backup circuit, and some other things like media reactors, potentially lights, chillers perhaps, I can run on the non-backed up circuit. That being said, I'll do a video on this battery backup scenario once it's completely installed. I'll go through the details then, but I could realistically run everything on this tank off that battery backup circuit, and it's going to give me a good few hours of backup. Or I can just pick a few items and it will last for many, many hours, if not a couple days. So, all right, we'll come out into the shed and I'll show you where the battery backup's going to be situated. You can see my solar inverter there. But I've got the Victron MultiPlus just sitting here for now. It will eventually get mounted up on the wall next to the solar inverter. And then won't be directly underneath it. The batteries will be offset to the side a little bit because you need to have the batteries not mounted directly under the inverter, because when they are charging, even though they're sealed lead batteries, they will still emit a little bit of gas, which you're not meant to have venting directly underneath your inverter. So I'll probably offset those batteries right back into this corner here, and I'll box that in a little bit. Won't seal it off completely, but I'll just put a little cover around it just so no one accidentally bumps into them. But I've got 4 giant power 140 amp hour batteries, which should give us quite a lot of battery backup. Now, the reason why the inverter is going to mount there, that's because on the other side of this wall is our fuse box, which does have the dedicated fish tank circuit right here. So basically the power that's going into this will divert into the inverter. That will then decide whether it passes power from the grid straight through back to that circuit, or whether it draws it from the batteries. All in all, basically, once if the power goes off, it will turn on. It'll keep the fish tank running from the power from those batteries. So should do the job nicely. So there are a couple of things we've got going on there. We've got the plumbing, got the battery backup stuff. On the outside here, I have enlisted, not that you can see anything yet, but where that big pot there is, that's where my chiller is going to sit, and I have enlisted the help of a local friend of mine that's a carpenter. He's going to put together a beautiful little outdoor storage box to put that chiller in. So the chiller is outside. Don't mind our washing, just doing the sheets today. The chiller will sit outside in a nice little box vented so that the heat gets away from the tank and out of the house, and also the noise. And then the plumbing will come in through the back here and then back into the sump. So that should be pretty cool. Now, speaking of the sump is on its way. Exciting times. It's been a big build up, and there's been a couple of pictures sent through to me to show me what this sump looks like, and I'll put a couple of them on screen for you soon. That should be here in a few days. So we're talking a video on that sump probably about a week away. Once the sump's here, we'll also do the plumbing, and I'll go through how the sump works. But Eric from Himali has done an incredible job in this sump, and I cannot wait to see it. So stay tuned for that video. That'll be really cool. And whoa, nearly forgot one other thing that has been locked in and will be here soon, despite the tank not being ready for it yet. I'll still do some reviews and some footage on it, is the skimmer I've chosen for this new tank. Now, I'm not gonna leak what that is just yet, but the video won't be far away. I should pick it up this weekend, which means the review will probably be about 2-3 weeks away, because I wanna make sure I give it at least a good week in my large frag tank so I can see how it runs and give you some feedback on it. But that's another component that has been locked in, is almost here, and I'm sure once some of these components start rolling in, I'm going to be overwhelmed with content for you guys. But the skimmer is picked, it is landed, it's available, ready to do the test on it, so it won't be long now. I did forget one other item that has arrived for the tank, and that's the air, I guess it's the extraction fan for the hood. So this will be installed up into the ceiling. It's a 100mm fan. It's the quietest one I could find on the market, and that will be installed up into the ceiling here, so that the hood, or the canopy, I guess you'll call it, will have the air extracted from it, so that it doesn't just build up humidity in there and get all the lights and other electronics all moist and humid and things that electricity doesn't like. So that's going to be installed up in the ceiling with some ducting going out, so it just pulls the air out of that hood and draws fresh air into the hood. I can't install that until the canopy is installed, so we're just gonna have to wait on that, but I will install that with a humidity controller just so that it only turns on when the humidity in that hood gets high enough, draws the air out, and then switches off. We'll see what level I set that humidity controller to. It could be 50%, 70%, 10%, who knows, but we'll cross that bridge then. All right guys, there you have it. That's the update on my Dream Reef tank. It's obviously moving a little bit slower than I'd like, but I just wanted to share a video with you to show you that things are still happening, and we're very, very close to having a few pretty cool little videos going through some major components of this tank. So if you have not yet, please consider subscribing. It takes a couple seconds of your time, costs no money at all. There should be a little button down there somewhere, which you can click to subscribe. Even hit that bell notification. That'll let you know the moment that I release another video so you don't miss out. Other than that, guys, if you've got any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, you name it, pop it in the comment section down below. If you don't notice already, I respond to every single one of the comments that goes on my videos. So feel free, use it as almost as if it's a phone line straight through to me, because I promise you I will respond to every question. So other than that, guys, stay safe, keep reefing, and catch you soon. Bye.